Hello class, this is Scott Caruso from PMA3 here to bring you my week 2 discussion video talking about web-based mobile applications, what I've learned, why they're important. So first and foremost, to talk about what I've learned about web-based mobile applications, and it's not so much what I've learned, but what I have reiterated and what I've reinforced in my mind. It's that, and outside of the coding I've learned, because obviously I've learned a ton about coding, JavaScript, HTML5, way more than the HTML1 that I knew 10 years ago. But inherently, we all know that a web application is pretty much always a smaller, more bite-sized version of its larger counterpart, or at least it appears as such, even if it does have all the features of its browser-based or client-based cousin. But you really get an appreciation for how much effort and care has to go into determining what the X factor, the most important piece of a website is when you're designing for mobile. You don't have the kind of artistic white space to play around with. You don't have the room for fancy, animations, or you don't have the room to fill the screen with a number of different features to throw at the user. You really need to focus on what the biggest and most important piece of the pie is, and it's really helped reiterate how important that is to me. And that kind of also ties into why learning about web applications is valuable. One of the reasons, anyway, and it's a topic that we talk about at work a lot as well. When we're making video games, we really want to focus on what matters most to our user. That's actually what we call it, what matters most. In other words, we're forced to make tough decisions about features that people really need to use in the software that we're designing. And fluff has very little place in most mobile applications, just like we're starting to learn that fluff, non-essential features have very little place in agile development for a free-to-play video game as well. So that's one of the big things that you can take away from learning about web-based applications. Another big takeaway is that it really sets the groundwork for when we design native applications. By focusing in an area that is generally browser agnostic, and by that I mean the applications that we're designing right now can be used on any mobile browser. We can really hone in on design and coding principles without having to worry about platform-specific syntax and standards that obviously we'll need to learn eventually, but should be much easier to learn once we've got the framework in place. So finally, just to talk a little bit about any web-based applications that I use today. Most of the applications that I use are native to my BlackBerry and my tablet. But there are a small handful of web-based ones that I use. One of them is an Outlook Express mobile app on my tablet. It's actually a website that you go to. It allows me to connect to my work email without having to use VPN. Just saves me a little bit of time. I don't use it very often because I've really been trying to detach myself from work when I'm not at work since I left EA. That's a completely different discussion we can have another time. But I also end up frequenting some of the news or news-type sites that I go to quite a bit for my mobile phone. Huffington Post, MLB Trade Rumors, which is a Major League Baseball transactions website for MLB junkies like me. Kotaku, a video game website. It allows me to keep up on the latest happenings in those areas that I care about. And I love how those mobile apps really streamline the experience for me, so I can get to the newest stories and posts quickly and then get back to whatever it was I was doing, whether it was sitting at a traffic light or, picking up my daughter at daycare or whatever it might be. So that's week 2. I hope everyone's had a great week, and I will talk to you again soon.